This podcast contains adult language and stories of true crime. If you don't like laughing, crying, or being horrified at the actions of other humans, this podcast is not for you.
Listeners.
Hey.
Hi. We're going to read to you today. Get cozy.
Grab a cup of tea.
Speaking of tea. What a segue.
See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
Queen of segs.
Speaking of tea, we want to thank Andy from Plum Deluxe for sending us truly a large package of amazing loose leaf tea, and you should check them out. We truly love this company and appreciate them sending this to us. And I tried their chai blend, which was delicious. So Plum Deluxe is hand blended in small batches at a studio in Portland, Oregon, which is where we live.
Yay!
And the tea blends are made with fresh ingredients, free of chemicals and sulfites, and they support local and U.S. farmers whenever possible. And they have an active philanthropy program, which is why they gave to our charity.
They gave to our not-for-profit podcast.
But if you're interested in seeing their beautiful packaging and getting to try some of their tea, I'm going to have another cup tonight. You can go to plumdeluxe.com/tea shop.
Yeah. They do like a tea of the month club. They have a bunch of cute stuff on there too.
Cute.
So fun.
And it should definitely be said that Andy told us we did not need to talk about the tea on the podcast.
Yeah.
We are just choosing to because this gift was so nice.
Mm-hmm. And before we get started, I want to... I just mailed out 150 envelopes for patrons and magnets. I want to apologize to our patrons because I haven't sent anything out since January, but I got a full-time job, so I'm just really busy these days. But I looked at the tracker and I was like, oh my gosh, this person joined Patreon on January 23rd. All of your stuff is coming in the mail, regardless of your Patreon level. And to everyone who reviewed us so far, all of your magnets are in the mail. Everything's good to go. We're shipping to Canada, Australia, the UK, all over the country. It's really cool to see where everybody's from. Iowa, Kansas, all these places. But I do want to apologize for those patrons that joined us back in the new year because for me it is still January. So
yeah, what is time,
What is time? Seriously, it means nothing right now.
Thanks, honeys. And thanks, Allison, honey.
Yeah, no problem.
We should say what we're doing here today.
Oh, yeah, what are we doing? We just kind of jumped right in.
Well, this is an episode where we read to you, as I said, so get cozy, maybe with a cup of tea, because we're going to read some things that you wrote in to us.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, I'll start. So this comes to us from Renice via email. And Renice says, hello, wonderful podcast queens. I just listened to your episode, quote, It's the Radiation for Me, Season 3, Episode 18. You guys have brought up Munchhausen's a couple times in this episode, and I want to share my experience with someone I believe to have something similar.
Oh, no.
Let me start off by saying this was my best friend from middle and high school's mom. So this was someone I was very, very close to. I thought of this woman as a second mom for most, if not all, of my teenage years. She was always sick. She had cancer. She was losing feeling in her legs, going through chemo, getting operations. Her coworkers and friends set up a silent auction to help pay for her medical bills. I bought a car from her because I was 16 and needed a car, and she said she couldn't drive it anymore because she was losing function in her legs. My best friend, her mom's best friend, and I all got matching flamingo tattoos when I was 16. Yes, illegal, I know, but, quote, she was dying.
Oh my goodness.
My tattoo even has her name under it.
Oh,
Renice, no, honey. As someone covered in tattoos, don't get a tattoo with somebody's name on it. Especially when you're 16. I can't imagine what my body would look like if I'd started getting tattooed at 16. A month or so after the tattoos, she went into hospice and we all thought that she was going to die. She didn't, and we were relieved until we found out what actually was going on. She had been lying the entire time. She was in the medical field, so she was able to fake documents stating that she had cancer when she didn't.
Whoa.
Oh, my God.
This made it so she was able to get comfort measures and whatever pain medication she wanted.
Oh, shit.
And she wanted lots.
Oh.
She would cut her, oh my gosh. She would cut herself open and literally stitch herself back up and have her friend dress her wounds like she had gotten operations for her cancer. Oh, she was selling her pills she was getting. She scammed the town with her fundraisers. If you're wondering how she was able to get on hospice, I'm not exactly sure, but I do know that she tried to overdose herself with the pain pills to kill herself right before hospice, and it didn't work. I'm thinking now it was her last-ditch effort because she got found out. I'm not really sure how it was all found out to be not true, but I do know that she lost her medical license and her job. And she is still alive today, 6 to 7 years later. This wasn't even that long ago. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh.
That friend went down a rough patch, and we grew apart, so I've never even confronted her mom since I found out, nor do I think I ever will. However, now I have a tattoo with her name on my shoulder that I desperately need to get covered, but I haven't gotten it done yet. The craziest part of the story to me is the fact that about a year before all of the tattoos and hospice and everything, she said she was in remission. She could have moved on with her life, and no one would have ever known. But I honestly think she needed the attention and had to bring it back into her life.
Oh, wow.
And then she gave us a link, and she says, here's a link stating she lost her medical license.
Oh, my gosh.
So then she says, I definitely think she has something actually mentally wrong with her, like Munchausen's, because I really do not know how else this sort of thing can be explained. Anyways, thank you for having the best true crime podcast out there. I love listening to your banter back and forth. It really makes me feel like I'm talking with friends as I listen. Keep up the great podcast. It truly makes my commute enjoyable. Warmest regards, Renise.
Oh, my gosh, Renise.
That's so crazy. We will, you know what we're going to do? We should start collecting money for you to get that tattoo covered up.
Let's set up a GoFundMe for you and that tattoo.
Oh my gosh. That is so crazy. And I mean, either way, it's horrible, but it really shows Munchausen's by proxy is so much worse because they're inflicting it. Like, thankfully for her daughter, that's not what she had, so she wasn't inflicting it on her.
Yeah.
I mean, the daughter is still, that's horrible to learn that about your mother doing that to herself all that time. But
yeah, because that's not victimless either. Like,
no.
But yeah, I had that exact same thought as we were sitting here. I was like, by proxy is so much worse.
Oh, thank you for writing in. That is so crazy.
Yeah, that was bananas.
Horrible.
Thank you.
I can't believe that tattoo.
I know.
Send us a before and after when you get it covered.
The next one is from Amber via email. And it's just an adorable message. So,
oh, yay.
She says, hello, ladies. I apologize in advance for all of the word vomit. Me waxing rhapsodic. First of all, y'all are one of the best things to have happened to me in quarantine. I'm a dirty, millennial liberal who cut her teeth on unsolved mysteries. So, of course, it was love at first listen.
I love the double dirty there.
Dirty. Y'all were the first Patreon I've ever subscribed to. Aw. And you've seriously gotten me through working from home. I'm a college advisor and instructor, which is weird because I'm a super introvert and I don't know why I chose a career that involves talking all day. Same girl. And I have ADHD, which makes it really hard for me to focus. I found out that I need background noise, but only certain kinds. Turns out y'all are the perfect background noise, and I have your podcast playing pretty much any time I'm not actively teaching or meeting with students.
Aww.
As I said, y'all have gotten me through the last year and kept me from becoming a puddle of unfocused procrastination. Then she says, backstory that you didn't ask for. My mother is a toxic, narcissistic garbage person, so I spent a lot of my childhood with her mother, my MaWMaW, more about that later, who was a saint of a woman. MaWMaW and I bonded over 3 shows. The Golden Girls, Designing Women, and Unsolved Mysteries.
Love
that lineup,
Designing
honey.
Women. I freaking loved Designing Women.
Yes.
I love it.
I loved but it scared the shit out of me, so Mama would keep me company while I watched reruns on Lifetime. Mama died when I was 13 years old, but I wanted to keep her legacy going, so I introduced my niece and nephew to the show. Now, as a mom, I'm counting down the days till it is appropriate to give the gift of Unsolved Mysteries to my 7-year-old.
Oh, I love it.
She says she already likes spooky stuff, so I know it'll be her jam.
Wow.
And she says, addressing the MaWMaW issue, I am unfortunately from Alabama originally. In parentheses, I currently live in Tennessee, which isn't any better.
Oh, girl.
To make matters worse, I am from the Appalachian area of Alabama, so my accent is thick and my vocabulary is colorful, to say the least. Mm-hmm. I hate when listeners give podcasters shit for not pronouncing stuff correctly, but I've noticed that y'all have struggled with MaWMaW in some of your episodes, so I wanted to provide some pointers. Oh my god, I love this. She says, MaWMaW is a common Southern name for grandmothers, with Papa being the grandfather equivalent, and MeMaw being an alternative to MaMa. I had a MaMa and I have a MeMaw because, again, Alabama. When you pronounce it, you really want to put the emphasis on the W. So, she writes it out, capital M, lowercase a, capital W, and repeat. So, MaWMaW, Paw, and MeMaw.
Oh,
I feel like if you could hear me say it, it would make much more sense, but I did the best I could. Also, y'all have cute accents, so if you want to continue saying it in your cute non-Southern accent, that is totally fine.
That's so cute.
Ew, it's so weird. I don't even think of us having accents.
I know. We don't.
But do we?
I know, we do. Everyone does.
Everyone has an accent to someone who doesn't live where they live, right?
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I know, it's
yeah,
so weird.
when we say it like you're writing it out, we sound dumb. So you need to send us a screen a recording of you saying it.
Yes.
Because it will sound good from someone who naturally has the accent.
Yes. Anyway.
MaWMaW.
Paw. I don't know. I practiced for a while before we sat down to record.
You did a good job. I noticed that your MaWMaW had improved.
That's New Jersey.
That's adding in 2 W's.
Mwah, mwah.
Mwah, mwah. It's like a kiss. Mwah.
And then she says,
We lost all of our listeners. They just shut up.
Bye.
Then she says, memories, oh memories. So I have to be honest and say that I don't really give a shit about UFOs. I'm sorry. But with that being said, when I close my eyes and picture Unsolved Mysteries episodes, the first one that comes to mind is the Cash Landrum episode. She said there's also a ghost one that I loved that scared the shit out of me, but I can't remember enough details to even place it. So I was turned when I listened to It's the Radiation for Me. I was able to replay the episode in my mind as Carlin walked through it, and it just made my day.
Aww.
I was actually in the middle of listening to it when I was like, you know what? I'm finally going to email them.
Yay!
Thank you.
She says, I've been procrastinating on emailing y'all because that's just who I am as a person. So, long story short, I just want y'all to know that y'all are the sweetest sweeties and the honeyest honeys. Your podcast makes my workdays more bearable and gives me the warm fuzzies thinking about my MaWMaW. You really want to focus on that W when you say MaWMaW. Also, think of the word mall, but with a W instead of L.
I love it.
This is funny because my family is Southern, but from South Carolina. And so we don't really have that.
Yeah, I'm going to make your dad say it when I see him next.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll do it the same. He might. Because he didn't call his grandma Mama.
Oh.
He called his dad Daddy.
Daddy.
They all call their dads Daddy.
Cute.
And my daddy's Daddy.
I love
and my grandma called her mom Mother, and that is a Southern thing.
Oh, yeah.
Mother.
Anyway, she says, I hope y'all have a wonderful evening. Take care, Amber.
Oh, Amber, that was delightful.
Amber, honey.
Excellent email. Thanks, Amber.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amber.
Thanks, Mama.
Thanks, MaWMaW. We love you.
We sound dumb. Okay, This next one is from P via email. Hi, ladies. Wanted to start off by saying love the podcast, obviously. I've been listening since mid-season. That's not me saying obviously. I've been listening since mid-season 2 and recently have been re-listening at work because I can't focus on anything that's super heavy-duty, but I still want all the cool research and updates. Love having you ladies in my ears while having to deal with my boss, a true product of the 1940s.
Whoa.
Oh, whoa. He was born in 49, and the microaggressions are real. Oof. Anyways, I have 2 hometown murder cases. They're both super sad, so sorry to be a bummer, but they're interesting in their own ways. The first is that the bodies of 4 sex workers from Atlantic City, New Jersey were found right across town lines in my hometown, Egg Harbor Township. They were all strangled, and the only crime scene is the dump site, which is a secondary location, so there's incredibly little evidence to go off of. They send a link to an article about it. P says the article calls them prostitutes, but the photo captions say sex workers, which is also kind of interesting. People speculate that there might be a connection to the Long Island serial killer, also unsolved. But it's just speculation based on victim profiles, dumping the bodies, and location.
Yeah.
She says we're pretty much a straight shot down on a major highway from New York City. Anyways, I doubt it will ever be solved just because there's so little evidence. When I was in high school, there was also apparently a body of a girl found chopped up in a suitcase behind the Shore Mall. Ugh. A really skeevy and desolate one. I had karate there for years in an old shoe store.
Welcome to Jersey.
Oh my God. I had karate there for years in an old shoe store that's now been demolished. Only thing that's still there is the DMV and a Boscov's. What's a Boscov's?
I don't know.
Wow. I mean, if you can't get a picture of what the Shore Mall was like by that description, karate class in an old shoe store, and now that's gone, and all that's there is a DMV.
And
you
a Boscov's.
Picture exactly what
that's got to be
is.
Boscov's has to be a South Jersey thing. I'm from North Jersey, so.
Oh, right. Of
it's
course.
It's a little state,
but
it's pretty big differences south of the Mason-Dixon line, you know?
I guess.
That's terrible. I've heard so many cases recently where people have been in suitcases.
Ugh.
What is going on?
Some people thought it was the same person, but I think they ended up catching who did the suitcase murder, ? The MO was completely different, and most of that one was just rumors, so who knows. The other one is even sadder. It actually happened on my street. There was a family who lived near me with a bunch of kids, one of which was the same age as me, so we went to the same bus stop and played together. Before the murder, he was the happiest, most outgoing kid. Like, one time he got on the wrong bus home from kindergarten, and the bus driver of the wrong bus said he just sat up front and chatted with her while she finished her run and then dropped him off. Then, around, I think, 1st or 2nd grade, his dad strangled his mom to death in front of him.
No.
Oh, my God.
The dad is in prison now, and the kids went to live with their grandparents in a trailer park in the same town. The boy, who was my age, totally changed. He became super withdrawn, started smelling, and getting bullied for it. I don't know whatever happened to him, but I think of it every time I drive home and pass their old house. Keep up the great work, P. She, they pronouns. Oh my gosh. That is horrible.
Yeah.
All of those are horrible.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the suitcase
is related.
Yeah. That's so horrible and sad.
Yeah.
And now I want to look up that case. Oh, thank you, P, for writing in. That poor boy. Oh, no. In front of the kids.
I know.
That's terrible.
No.
Okay, so this comes to us from Mike G via email. Hey, ladies. I'm a card-carrying member of your male fan club and the proud owner of a bright pink Don't Be a Dick Bitch t-shirt.
Yes, honey.
My wife doesn't let me wear it outside, which is probably wise on her part.
Yes.
I heard about your podcast when you advertised on the Star Trek podcast, The Greatest Generation. Aw, that was actually my partner's suggestion that we do that. And we got a lot of really great listeners from that.
We did. Some honeys that may not have ever found us.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have come to the conclusion that that would be a crossover audience.
No.
That was all Jamie. And yeah, that was a great idea. So Mike says, the memories instantly flooded back about watching when I was too young. Seriously, where were our parents?
Seriously, all of us. Where were they?
Yeah, really. Never around. I have images blazed into my head from the Bremen Road Attacker Season 2 and the disappearance of Justin Bergwinkle coming in Season 7. Anywho, I wanted to tell you a true crime story from my childhood. It seems like everyone who grew up during the 80s has that one story that changed the way they thought about their safety. I grew up in a small town in upstate New York. That's the part of New York that is really empty. No skyscrapers or Donald Trump or Rudy Giuliani. Just lots and lots of trees and corn. It sounds almost cliche, but people really didn't lock their doors, and kids like me could ride our bikes anywhere we wanted. I would be gone for hours without my family having any idea where I was. As Allison says, that seems bananas today. On the afternoon of August 18th, 1993, 12-year-old Sarah Ann Wood left Vacation Bible School in a rural area just south of Utica, New York. Her plan was to ride her bike to her home down Hackadam Road, which was about a 1-mile trip. In the 10 minutes it should have taken her to complete that bike ride, Sarah Ann Wood vanished. Her family reported her missing that evening, and a search that same night located her bicycle, a coloring book, and crayons.
Oh, my God.
Stashed in some brush along Hackadam Road. Police suspected Sarah had been abducted by a stranger, and the whole region went nuts. For months afterwards, the name Sarah Ann Wood was on the tip of everyone's tongue, and missing posters with the picture of Sarah in her red school shirt were everywhere. And yet, despite all the publicity, there was no sign of Sarah, not even one credible lead to pursue. Oh, gosh. Fast forward a few months to the early morning of January 7th, 1984, just across the state line in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. 12-year-old Rebecca Savarese was walking to school down West Street when a man walked up behind her and pointed a gun at her. He ordered her to get into a nearby van. Unfortunately for this dick bitch, Rebecca was a boss-ass queen.
Yes.
She improvised. She pretended that she was having an asthma attack in order to turn away from him. When the man grabbed for Rebecca, all he could reach was her backpack. She flipped her arms out of the backpack and ran away screaming, "Yes, girl!"
Yes, girl.
Oh, my gosh. Always make a scene. Always make a scene. This attracted attention in the neighborhood, and the man in the van was forced to drive off. But he didn't get away. Rebecca and her fellow witnesses remembered a partial license plate number.
Yes.
Which led local police to Pittsfield resident Lewis Lent Jr. They found Rebecca's backpack and a loaded gun inside the van and arrested Lent on the spot. Rebecca Savarese even showed up at the police station to pick Lent out of a lineup. Oh, my gosh. Wow. My kind of 12-year-old. Shortly after being arrested, Lewis Lent began to talk. It turns out that Rebecca hadn't only saved her own life, she had helped capture a serial killer.
Oh, my God.
Lent first confessed to the 1990 abduction, rape, and murder of a 12-year-old Pittsfield boy, Jimmy Bernardo. Police had been confused about Bernardo's murder because his body was found hundreds of miles from Pittsfield in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. It turns out that this was the area where Lewis Lent grew up. Then Lent described another day in 1993 when he was home visiting family, when he decided he wanted to take a drive and find a child to abduct. You know, like a totally insane person. That's when he found Sarah Ann Wood pushing her bicycle up a lonely road. Oh.
No.
Lent said that he wasn't certain Sarah was even dead when he buried her body. Oh, my God. Just up Route 28 in the area of Rockette Lake, New York. He refused to help authorities locate Sarah's body because, quote, she wasn't buried alone. Oh, my gosh.
God.
A detailed search that winter didn't turn up anything, which isn't surprising. Roquette Lake is part of Adirondack Park, an enormous 9,500 square mile wilderness, and snow and ice would have concealed any freshly disturbed soil forever. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Later, Louis Lent confessed to the 1992 murder of Jamie Lusher, a teenage boy from Westfield, Massachusetts. An FBI task force was formed to track Louis Lent's movements across the country to determine if his MO and locations matched to any other child abduction cases. He was linked to an attempted abduction of a girl from a Kmart in Bennington, Vermont, and then to the 1993 murder of 10-year-old Holly Pirinanen from Sturbridge, Massachusetts. Because of lack of concrete evidence, Louis Lent was only sentenced for the murder of Jimmy Bernardo and the attempted abduction of Rebecca Savarese. That was enough to put him in prison for life. He was later sentenced to an additional 25 years for Sarah Ann Wood's murder on the strength of his confession. Louis Lent refuses to help any further. He confesses and recants and plays games.
Ugh.
According to Herkimer County DA Jeffrey Carpenter, quote, "Every time we go and see him, we learn more. You sit with him, and it's like talking to the devil himself."
Ugh.
Even now, 30 years later, Sarah Ann Wood's body still hasn't been located. If any good news has come from her murder, it has been awareness. Her family helped found the Mohawk Valley office of the Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Sarah's brother helped found the local Ride for Missing Children, and kids all over upstate New York learned about the basics of defending ourselves. If someone tries to take you, never cooperate. Never get in a vehicle. Never go to a second location. Try to run, and if you can't, you fight and scream, just like true queen Rebecca Savarese. Louis Lent has been covered by a bunch of true crime podcasts. If anybody wants more details, Jamie Lusher's abduction was covered in a January 1993 segment of America's Most Wanted.
Oh.
Sarah Ann Wood's case was featured on a 48 Hours and America's Most Wanted in fall of 1993. And anyone with information about Sarah Ann Wood's whereabouts should contact the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services at 1-800-346-3543. And ladies, thanks for keeping us updated on all the latest details on our favorite mysteries, honeys. My wife and I watched the episode on Sunday nights in anticipation of you three true sweeties doing all of the work to update us on Monday mornings.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's so nice.
The night before. I love that.
I know.
So cute.
I wish you continued luck at burying those 1 stars and getting that money. Your podcast friend, Mike G. Oh, my
Mike.
God.
Okay, so nice.
Wow.
So horrible and then so nice.
Ah, that was incredible.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Pretending to have an asthma attack. I can't think that fast to do something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It reminds me, Allison, of what you used to say Nadia would do. She would
can't kill
pretend to be
crazy.
crazy and bite her ear and stuff like that.
One of my best friend's theory as an adult, but even when we were growing up, she grew up in Tribeca, was that you, quote, can't kill crazy. So just act nuts. Just act nuts.
And they don't want to put up with you if you're like
Well,
that.
exactly. You're going to be difficult to abduct. You're going to
Yeah.
be difficult to keep quiet. Yeah.
And my mother, I remember her saying to me, just scream. Scream as loud as you can.
Yeah.
Kick and fight. She taught me before I ever had any sort of awareness about what to do. Because, we grew up in a pretty bad area. I grew up in a pretty bad area. And it was just scream and cut and bite and kick and scratch and do whatever you can for them to get fed up and say, truly not worth it.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Yeah. It's so smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
my
That was
gosh.
incredible.
Wow, Mike. Thank you.
That kid caught a serial killer. That's insane.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Gosh.
Okay. This one is an update.
Update.
And it's an update to a case that I did on Patreon a long time ago. So Elizabeth Sullivan went missing in 2014, and her husband, who was in the military, was just on TV, where is she, Elizabeth? Let's find Elizabeth. Elizabeth, come home. She is found 2 years later in, I don't remember if it was a lake or a bay or what it was, in the water near where they lived.
San Diego Bay, I think.
Her body is found with multiple stab wounds. And anyway, he's the one where okay, go to Patreon to listen if you want to hear the whole backstory. But anyway, this update came in March, and it says, a former U.S. Navy sailor who was convicted by a San Diego jury of murdering his wife over 6 years ago was sentenced to more than a decade in prison last week. Matthew Sullivan, 36, was sentenced to 16 years to life in prison for the second-degree murder of his wife, Elizabeth Sullivan. A San Diego Superior Court judge handed down the sentence on Friday. Obviously, this was in March. Quote, the jury verdict and the evidence at trial makes clear that Matthew Sullivan brutally murdered his wife, methodically cleaned up the messy murder site, and then hid the body for years. So the body wasn't in the water that whole time is also part of this.
Yeah, he refrigerated her body or something. Right?
Yeah. Judge Albert Harutunian III said, quote, he almost got away with it, but his final attempt to hide the body at the bottom of the bay failed. Quote, this sentence will do nothing to fix that she's gone. However, it may help pack the chasm left behind by the demonic act of Matthew Sullivan, Elizabeth Sullivan's godsister, Calandra Duckett, also said at the sentencing.
Wow.
They said it's unclear if Sullivan plans to appeal his sentence. So if you want to hear that full story, you can head over to Patreon.
Yeah.
But the update is that Dick Bitch got sentenced.
Yay! Oh. Took long enough.
Yeah, seriously.
This is our last one from Chrissy. I just wanted to write in to say how much I enjoyed the podcast and to share my story. My dad and I used to watch together in the late 80s when I was around 9 or 10 years old. We would watch on our old floor model TV with the manual channel dials from the flowered velvety couch that every family seemed to have back then. Mm-hmm. I remember there was a door that led to the outside just to the left of the TV. Like many others, I was thoroughly freaked out by the theme music and would find myself constantly checking that door for any shadowy figures while it played. Aww. Luckily, I never found any. Aww. When my dad was sick with cancer last summer, we bonded once again over this time the reboot. I remember talking about the Ray Rivera rooftop case with him as he lay in bed, us both sharing our takes on what might have happened. Dad was in the final stages by then, and discussing episodes helped distract us and give us something to talk about besides appointments and medications. When my dad passed, I was reminiscent and found myself watching those old original episodes of once again, but this time frustrated by the lack of closure provided in most episodes. I Googled how I could find updates on old cases, and that's how I stumbled upon your podcast. Throughout my grieving these past few months, I've found it healing to listen to your episodes. It reminds me of Dad, and I found myself smiling and laughing at times, which is a nice and needed relief. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry for your loss.
As an interesting side note, I sometimes wonder if my dad's interest in the show and related types of content was due to an unsolved mystery within his own family. When my dad was 15, he was helping the family by working part-time at the gas station his father managed. On a night when my dad was supposed to be working, his dad filled in for him, and that same night the store was robbed. His dad, my grandfather, was beaten with a tire iron and then shot. Oh my God. And then shot in the head and killed.
Oh my God.
At only 15, my dad was left as the, quote, man of the house, helping to care for his mom and 3 younger siblings, and I think he carried a lot of guilt that he had dipped out on work that night.
Oh my gosh.
No one was ever arrested for my grandfather's murder, but I'm not sure how thoroughly it was ever investigated, as they were a poor family living in a very small town with, I'm sure, limited resources. I tried recently to investigate a little myself. Unfortunately, all I could find were a few newspaper clippings about the incident and a wanted ad listed in the paper. When I called the local police station, they said any paper records from a case back in 1970 would have been destroyed when records were converted to digital. It seemed odd to me that records from unsolved cases can be destroyed without consent from family, but who knows?
Yeah.
Truly. Also, switching to digital means you switch that shit over to digital
It
too.
doesn't mean that you throw it out and then just start again with
That's
digital.
the point of digital.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Is so it doesn't take up space.
Oh, God. Yikes.
Oh, my God. I remember my dad writing into UM in the late 80s about his father's case. Oh, wow. But I don't believe he ever heard anything back, which isn't surprising given the lack of information surrounding it.
Right.
Wow.
My dad started but never finished his college degree in criminal justice. I have a master's in psychology and have decided since his passing to pursue a PhD in criminal justice with a concentration in behavioral science in honor of him and our shared love of, well, what makes people do weird shit. Thanks for all you do to give people great content, closure, and a few laughs along the way, Chrissy.
Aw, Chrissy.
Oh, my gosh. What a... it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Really beautiful.
Yes.
I'm glad she's getting her PhD in criminal justice. That's badass.
That's awesome.
Your dad will be so proud of you.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, those are like one of the best batches of letters that we've had.
That's so nice.
Thank you all so much for writing in. If you want to, we need some more content for our listener short stacks, right, friends?
We do. We're running low, guys.
So write to us. You can write to us a few different places, resolvedmysteriespodcast@gmail.com. You can go to our website, Resolved Mysteries. Website, http, la 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 la.
Resolved Mysteries internet page.
It's actually just resolvedmysteriespodcast.com.
Yeah, it's that. You can also write a paper letter to us, 14005 Portland, Oregon, 97293. That one I have down.
Yeah.
On Instagram, you can find us at Resolved Mysteries Podcast. Is that right?
And on Facebook and Twitter at Resolve the Pod.
And you could write to us there and just tell us you want us to use it in any of those places and just tell us you want us to use them for a listener short stack. We love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for writing.
Thank you so much.
We love you so.
We love ya.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh.
One more
What?
thing?
Bye. No, bye.
Oh, okay. Just a tease. Kidding. Bye.
Bye.
This woman who went missing.
What was that? What's that sound? Do you hear that?
No.
No.
Are you serious? No. That was so scary.
What was it? I didn't hear it.
Literally, it was like,
Ew.
I thought it was one of your dog's stomach growling.
They're not
or
in
something.
here.
I don't have a dog.
And you guys didn't hear it. Ew,
You
but it
have
was
a
lower and
ghost.
scarier than that. Shut up!
You have
That's
a
so scary.
spooky. You got a spooky spook.
Okay. Keep going. Ew, I hate it.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm scared now. Okay, hurry. I'm scared.
Oh, no. Okay. So this gave a lips and solid and